Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWargaming.com, and I have some fun updates that I want to give you for the Depths of Perdition. In the last video, I showed you all of it and asked for your feedback. Got tons and tons and tons of comments, both on the YouTube video and on the Kickstarter and in Discord and all sorts of places. And I want to talk about a few of those more popular requests, as well as to show you the scatter terrain that we have painted up so far. So this is a table we have set up for our big Necromunda campaign, which will be coming out very, very soon. And Adam from Greenleaf Terrain has painted up the current set of scatter terrain that we have going. So you can see all sorts of fun stuff like this teleporter or whatever you want it to be. We've got these little stands. So if you wanted to use this as a trench system, those would be like where the models stand on top of so they can shoot over the trenches. We've even got fun wargaming tables within your wargame table. And these inserts do pop out. It'll be hard for me to do one-handed, but you can actually paint up a few different kinds and swap them out as you see fit. We got these cryo tubes, or whatever you want to call them, and all sorts of different kinds of consoles. In addition, we've got these big old guns. Because remember, originally this was going to be a trench system, so these bunkers were meant to be part of that. We're still going to include it if you want to make it a trench system, or just include it as part of your tiles, which I think looks really cool. But then we have these big guns on top. There's the autocannon version, and then the missile launcher version as well. There's all sorts of other doodads like this Tesla generator, whatever you want to call it. This little satellite thing, if you ever played Arkham City and you were Batman and you had to go around in that penguin mission and destroy these, then that's what they look like to me. Got like these solar panel type things, these roof machines, and all sorts of other stuff. This is not all of the scatter terrain that we're going to have. We also, I hope, have a much bigger list of other things to make the place feel more lived in. But I will reveal those as they get finished because we're still in development of a lot of the STLs. Now, talking about your feedback, there was a lot of different things. One of the main ones, though, was that you didn't like how thick the walls were. That when you put the tiles together, you end up with walls that are this thick. I totally agree. And we're going to talk about how we're going to fix that, or at least add on things that fix it. But remember, of course, how that came to be was that this was meant to be a trench system, which means you'd want to be able to place models on top of all of this. So that's why they started off as thick as they were. But I can see now that it's going to be more of an indoor, underhive, spaceship kind of system. Having walls that thick have a few problems. One being the amount of PLA that you're going to use to print them. Some people have asked, well, could we just have the floors print separately? And we've done the math, and it doesn't really save you much PLA to print the inside as one part and then this on top, because you still have to print the walls. And we just do like a 5% infill on these ones, and we find that you use hardly any PLA in there, and it's still nice and sturdy. And so yeah, it's just not really worth doing it that way. Maybe in a stretch goal, we'll start adding more of those options, but our math shows that it doesn't make much of a difference. But the other problem is that this width right here, while big enough for a contemptor dreadnought, is not big enough for the larger Leviathan dreadnoughts. And if you're playing Zone Mortalis and Horus Heresy, Leviathan dreadnoughts are able to go around some of the bigger hallways. So with that in mind, we are now developing tiles that have thinner walls like this, so that when you put them together, it'll just be the thickness of these two right here. So you can see the difference. Let's find an end tile right here. So this tile is an end tile. We put that there and you can see how much more space it gives you for the same size. Now, this prototype table was part of the original development, and since they were originally going to be a trench system and originally going to be part of the Ruins of Perdition, which you can see set up over here, you'll notice that the design of the floors of the Ruins of Perdition are the same. And so that's kind of what dictated the scale of these. And when we were doing the Ruins of Perdition, we didn't really care about how big those floors were because they're not really meant to do anything other than just be floors in a ruin. But now that we're doing it on a tile system, it forced the tiles to be 6.25 inches across, which is a very unusual size for these tiles, because obviously you often play on 3 foot by 3 foot or 4 foot by 4 foot or 6 foot by 4 foot tables. And you can't divide any of those by 6.25 inches. But it was really important that they aesthetically matched. But now that it's turning into its own thing in an underground tile system, I made the decision that I really wanted these tiles to be 6 inches across instead of 6.25. Now, it's not a huge difference in size. You can see this is the new tile right here, and it's just dropped by 0.25 inches. But what that means is I'm left with this huge table of tiles that are not going to be compatible with anything we do in the future. So rather than dig the hole deeper and deeper and just keep upscaling the tiles as I get them so that they are compatible with this, we decided that I'm going to give away this whole table, and we're just going to start fresh with these size tiles. Still having some of these thicker walls as well, so we can have the thinner hallways, because I think it's important to have a mix of wide hallways like this, medium hallways like this, and thinner hallways like that. So the way that we're going to do the giveaway is anybody who has signed up for the pre-launch is in the giveaway. So sometime later on, when we're totally done with this table, because we're still using it to take pictures and obviously play on for the Necromunda campaign, we'll randomly draw somebody, and we'll ship it to you for free anywhere in the world, and it'll be yours. Now, just the tiles and the doors, all the scatter terrain and everything that you see there, we're going to keep, because that's not going to get rescaled. You just have to understand that when you get it, you won't be able to make it compatible with any future products that we come out with that are supposed to be compatible with the Depths of Perdition. But, I mean, it's free, and it's a lot of tiles, because it's all of these, plus all of those, plus a few more spare ones as well. It's about 108 tiles in total, and at least a couple dozen doors as well. So there's a lot of stuff there that you'll get for free. So if you go to miniwargaming.com/perdition and you sign up for the pre-launch there, you're automatically signed up to participate in that draw. On top of that, we are going to be doing some other free giveaways. Well, sorry, not free giveaways, add-ons for those on the pre-launch list. We're going to be making a set of bases. James is currently working on this, that match these tiles. So he's going to basically be punching out bases on all this different types and have all sorts of different sizes of bases and shapes like you would normally need for whatever game that you happen to be playing with. And those ones we're going to provide for anybody who signs up to the pre-launch. If they buy the digital product, so you buy the STLs, we'll give you the STLs of the bases for free. And if you do a physical purchase, we'll send you a bunch of bases for free as well. But you have to be part of the pre-launch list in order for that to happen. So again, at miniwargaming.com/perdition. We've received a lot of other feedback and suggestions as I've posted everything about this campaign, many of which we are going to be incorporating, some that'll be stretch goals, and maybe others that need to wait for future campaigns. One of the common ones, though, was to be able to print the walls separate from the floors, which we are working on making doable. But it might not be as straightforward as you think. Like, some people think, well, that'll help with storage, and you're not wrong. It would store in a much smaller area if you could have all the walls separate from the floors, because then the floors would stack and then the walls would all go together. But the main drawback of that is setup time, because down in our terrain hallway, I've got different kinds of terrain products, one that have the tiles already made and others that have the walls separate from the floors. And we barely ever use the ones where the walls are separate from the floors because it's such a very long setup time of the table. So any storage that we save is just not really worth it. Now, your mileage will vary. You might not agree with me, and that's why we're working on actually providing those as well. So we'll see how we end up doing that. But the other thing is, too, when the tiles are printed together with the floors and the walls, they just look nicer because the walls don't slide around. They stick on them, and the table does get set up a lot faster. So we're working on that and seeing how that does look and how that will operate if we provide those to you guys as part of this Kickstarter. We have a lot more coming, including showing off this table in our upcoming Necromunda campaign. So remember, if you want to be part of that giveaway, as well as get the extra bonuses for backing the Kickstarter, make sure you're on our pre-launch list. Go to miniwargaming.com/perdition and put your email address in there. Thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.